The entropy of spontaneous cerebral activity represents a measure of the informational richness of conscious states. Consistent with this hypothesis, brain entropy increases during physiological development and decreases during states of reduced consciousness such as aging, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and cognitive decline. Alzheimer's disease showed catastrophic brain entropy reduction, which was related to more severe cognitive impairment and daily function disability. So it appears there is a straightforward link between brain entropy, consciousness, and loss of brain entropy and Alzheimer's disease, dementia, cognitive decline. Therefore, it seems logical that to try to fight these conditions or diseases, we have to restore brain entropy. The first type of crystals consists of a polylysin and glutamic acid. Polylysin constitutes a backbone for the establishment of electrostatic bonds between the positively charged amino groups of polylysin and the negatively charged acidic moiety of glutamic acid. This is a skeletal structure of a monomer of epsilon polylysin, and usually polylysin is composed of approximately 25 to 30 residues like this, and this is glutamic acid. And you can see the acidic moiety is very clearly represented in this skeletal structure. The second type of crystals consists of a mixture of lysine, alanine, tyrosine, and cyanocobalamin, or vitamin B12, that is complexed through formation of electrostatic bonds with the acidic backbone constituted by the sulfated polysaccharides, where the negatively charged sulfate ester and the carboxylic groups of the polysaccharides bind to the positively charged moieties of the amino acids and cyanocobalamin. So this is the backbone of the polysaccharides, and these are the non-covalent bonds with the amino acids alanine, tyrosine, lysine, or vitamin B12. The two types of crystals interact with each other in a CO2-enriched hydrophilic medium, with a resulting self-assembly of complex structures that are composed of random-sized aperiodic crystals of, on one side, polylysin and glutamic acid, and the other side, the sulfated polysaccharides bond to lysine, alanine, tyrosine, and cyanocobalamin. Although the crystals are formed through negentropy-driven self-assembly, because of their random size and therefore random distribution of electrical charges on their molecular surface, they do contain an elevated degree of information. Once formed, the crystals are assembled under the form of a capsule that can be ingested, and brain entropy measurements and clinical observation are then performed. How do we measure brain entropy? One technique is transcranial ultrasonography that is performed on the temporal lobes. This is how entropy appears. So this is a before assumption of the crystals, and this is after. Even if you are not trained as a radiologist, you can see that this is kind of whiter. And here you can see more information. Here you can see less dark holes everywhere, less dark here, whiter, kind of whiter, and more information. And that's actually what we measure. So we can measure entropy in the brain cortex using ultrasonography. And we observed an increase of brain entropy following the assumption of the two types of crystals. We also measured the neural activity in the anterior parts of the prefrontal cortex here by monitoring the cerebral oxygenation and the blood volume changes. They demonstrated that near-infrared spectroscopy probes neuronal activity through cerebral oxygenation and blood volume changes, because it measures the cerebral hemodynamic responses by near-infrared light. So this is one observation representative of many others that we have performed, and you can see the total increase of brain activation following the assumption of those crystals, which corresponds to a total increase of brain entropy. The increase was over 300% of neural activity in comparison with control. As I said, this is just one observation out of very many that we have performed and we are still performing. We have many reports. They come from the Republic of Korea, from other parts in Europe. Female, 65 years old. She's been taking the supplement for 30 days. Her head was heavy and dull, and her ability to think was not smooth. After taking it for 10 days, she felt a change in her head becoming clearer. Now that 30 days have passed, her thinking is as fresh as it was 10 years ago. This second one comes from Europe, female, 75 years old, taking the supplements for 30 days. She's a long-term cancer survivor, and she reports significantly improved speech flow, self-awareness and mindfulness, improved short and long-term memory, and better relationship with acquaintances as well as strangers. She also notices a much greater control on her temper. She's now able to relate with people she doesn't like without losing her temper. The third one is a male, 74 years old, taking the supplements for 45 days. He had a head operation 6 years ago due to a brain hemorrhage. After that, due to the after effects of the operation, his brain activity dropped markedly, and his behavior became unnatural, making it difficult to adapt to social activities. On the 7th day of taking it, the efficacy is quite rapid in many cases. It was enough to detect positive changes in brain activity. After 30 days of taking it, brain activity was activated, and he was able to engage in social activities like before the surgery. He was determined to continue taking it for the rest of his life. And you can understand this, because when you see such dramatic changes, then you want to keep those positive changes for as long as possible. The other one is a male, 72 years old, taking the supplements for 45 days. He had the colon cancer surgery 2 or 3 years ago. Now his physical strength is or was extremely low. He could not come home alone. He had to go out, he couldn't go out without his family's help. After 18 days of taking the supplement, there was a change in physical strength recovery. After 20 days, communication improved to the extent the communication was now possible. After 40 days of taking it, the shopping mission, that is going to buy apples, for example, at the local supermarket, was a success, which was actually a big success for this man. A male, 78 years old, taking the supplement for 46 days. He thought he had a neuralgia due to aging. He suffered from neuralgia, a tingling, burning, and painful sensation, as if electricity were flowing momentarily. After 10 days of taking it, his body seemed to feel lighter and became more energetic. After 30 days, he realized that the neuralgia symptoms that caused the pain had completely disappeared.